So last week I had given a preamble to the Purusha Sukta. So today we will actually get into the text itself. So the Purusha Sukta that we now study has got what is known as Purva Narayana. So this Purva Narayana, that is starting from Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha until Yajnena Yajnamayajanta Devaha, is what the Rigveda Patha is there. That's called Purva Narayana. Then in Yajurveda we add Uttara Narayana, that is starting from Adhyasambhotaha till the end. And the Rigvedis, what they do is, instead of having the Adhyasambhotaha, they also add what is known as Vaishnavanavaka. The Vaishnavanavaka is Ato Deva Avantu No Yato Vishnur Vichakrame, etc. So they will add it. So in all, Purusha Sukta is studied in three ways, that is Uttara Narayana, Purva Narayana, Uttara Narayana and Vaishnavanavaka. So that is the structure. And the first mantra is Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasrakshas Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishvato Vritva Atyatishthadashangulam. So this Purusha, I will continue to give meanings of Purusha as we go along. This Purusha, who is the inhering principle in everything, Puri Shete iti Purusha. So this Purusha has 1,000 heads, Sahasra Shirsha, has 1,000 hands, then has 1,000 feet, has 1,000 eyes. So here you have to think that this 1,000 is actually infinite. Sahasra has been defined as Anantavachakaha. That means it is a nomenclature for infinitude. Now, suppose we take it as a word, and then it is having 1,000 heads, Sahasra Shirsha, and then 1,000 eyes, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapat, 1,000 feet, corresponding hands. And you were to ask a good sculptor, so what would he do? He would actually create a huge icon consisting of, now there is a new trend to build huge icons. The other day, Jaggi Vasudev has built the world's tallest Shiva, 112 feet, and he wants to replicate it in 4 corners of India. And so there is a grand idea, a grand conception of a Shilpa with 1,000 and can be done. So when you read the mantra, then it will become a Shabda Shilpa. Sahasraksha Sahasrapat. That means you will create an iconic form. So the literal meaning, if you take it, is we are creating a iconic form. So in our Vedic religion, we have both images and imagery. So this mantra, it actually applies both images and imagery. For example, if you go to a temple, in the temple you will come across the vigrahas, which is anthropomorphic. And you will also come across vigrahas which are theriomorphic. So theriomorphic means where you have an icon which is a combination of animal and human. For example, Hanuman, you got Ganapati. So these are all known as the theriomorphic forms in Shilpakala. Or there could be no discernible form at all, such as Linga, such as Saligrama and others. So in other words, we can have both iconic forms and aniconic forms as far as image making is concerned. So when we are taking this, studying the Purusha Sukta, where it is saying that Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat, we are neither creating an iconic form nor an aniconic form such as the Linga or the Saligrama. So what other model that do we have as far as creation of imagery in the Vedic parlance is concerned? It is the Yajna. So in Yajna, what do? We construct a Vedi. So the Homa Vedi symbolizes the image, because in the Vedic times we did not have images. And this Homa Vedi itself, the Homa Kunda itself, represents the primordial creator Prajapati. So this is why the relevance of this point is that in Purusha Sukta we talk about creation. So in the Vedic ritual, you create the Vedic Kunda, Veda Kunda, Yajna Kunda, which is representing the Prajapati, the primordial creator. And that becomes a symbolic representation of the universe. Sabhumim Vishwato Vritva. So what is Vishwa? As far as the Yajna Kunda is concerned, that is Vishwa. And that is the iconic form of Prajapati in the form of a Yajna Kunda. So from that emanates all life from Prajapati. And what is the energy behind it? The Agni that is installed in the Homa Kunda is an iconic image of the divine. So you have the geometrical form which is iconic of Prajapati, and the aniconic form which is the Agni. So in Purusha Sukta, the concept of Purusha is not even this. So therefore, could it be an aniconic combination as shown in Shabda? So the answer is yes, this is a Shabda image of an infinite being, which is infinite headed, infinite eyed, infinite feet, and therefore as an aniconic Shabda Shilpa, Purusha Sukta has got a structure by which you can say Bhumim Vishwato Vritva. Because what is the limitation of an iconic and an aniconic image? It is located in a particular place. So if you have a Vigraha, it is limited to the boundary of the Garbhagruha or the temple. If you have got a Homakunda, it is limited to only to the space where the Homakunda is placed. If you do, you will be limiting Purusha. So if you limited Purusha, then Sahasra Sirsha could be actual 999 plus 1, isn't it? Then when it is actual 999 plus 1, it becomes a iconic or an aniconic image. So here is the struggle of the Rishi to tell you that this is a Shabda Chitra by which this Purusha is actually infinite. So he uses the word Sahasra for infinite. And then he says he has to create an imagery using the Shabda. So he uses Sabhumim Vishwato Vritva, qualifies the nature of the Shabda Chitra. You can see how the construction has taken place. So, Bhumim Vishwato Vritva, it is encompassing the entire earth. Here, Bhumi means existing all. And then how has he actually encompassed Vishwataha? From all sides he has encompassed. And then, not only that, Dashangulam Atyatishtat. Ati Atishtat. Ati Atishtat means firmly established. Firmly established in Dashangulam. So what is this Dashangulam? Dashangulam is not 10 inches again. So this Dashangulam, if you want to take an iconic representation, it is called Pradesha Matra. In fact, in Yajna also we say Pradesha Matra. That means you have to take the length of a darba for certain rituals, which is Pradesha Matra length. That Pradesha Matra is the length from the base of your hairline to the bottom of your chin. So this is called Pradesha. So that is why when we set up the Yajna Kunda, we just measure like this. And that is Dashangulam. And similarly, Dashangulam is also from the bottom of the your chin to your heart, and from the navel to the heart. But in the context of the Purusha Sukta, it is none of these. So Dashangulam in the application of the Yajna or in the application of Shilpa Shastra, because there is what is known as Dashangula methodology of building a murti in a temple. And there is the Talamana Paddhati of creating an image. So is this a Talamana Paddhati of Shilpa that Purusha Sukta is creating? That is also no. Here, therefore, it is interpreted as Dashangulam is the cave of your heart. So having completely encompassed the entire universe, Adi Atishthate, that is, where does he get firmly established? He firmly establishes himself in your heart. So not only in the heart of the devotee, but in the heart of the entire creation. So, by saying Sahasrashirsha Purushaha Sahasrakshaha Sahasrapat, infinite, this infinite entity, Shabda, image, what is he doing? He is Vishwato Vritva, having encompassed the entire universe from all sides. Ati Atishthate, got firmly established in Dashangulam, in your heart. So can you see that all of these things represent space? So it is a spatial location of Ishvara. So therefore, infinite in the sense of space. So everything that is in this space also is Idam Sarvam Purusha Eva. So even if you were to take individual entities as a subset of all these things, that also is Purusha Eva. Therefore, Sahasrasirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishwato Vritva Atyatishtat Dashangulam. Then, therefore, Idam Sarvam Yesha Eva also means all this that is perceivable to our senses, that you can see here, infer all of these things also, Idam Purusha Eva. Then the question may arise, therefore, was he not in the past? Will he not be in the future? So therefore the mantra continues by saying, Yad Bhutam Yaccha Bhavyam. Yadbhutam Yaccha Bhavyam, whatever was in the past and whatever is in the future. So if Purusha was in the past, Idam Sarvam, which is present Vartamana, and Bhavyam in the future, does it mean to say he is only in the 3 steps of time? If you do that, again he will get limited, and therefore Uta Amritasya Amritatvasya Ishanaha. And also, Ishana means Lord. Yat cha. Yat cha. Also. Yat cha. Yat tat. That's how we say. No? Whenever you say yat, then it becomes tat. Yat bhutam tat cha bhavyam. Then Uta and Amritasya. Amritasya means of the immortal, of Devatvam. Amrita also means Devatvam. And here is an interesting interpretation that Amrita also means life. Because as soon as you say life, there is also death. Isn't it? There's a complementary idea of death. So how can we say for life, we apply the word Amrita? Because we are not yet died. We are still living, isn't it? So, Amritatvameti, one who acquires moksha, is Amritatvameti means he is still alive, and at the same time he experiences total freedom. Because there is no death for him. Because physically he is not dead, mentally he is not dead, intellectually he is not dead, spiritually he is not dead. So that Amritatvam also he, this Ishanaha, yat annena atirohati. This is a very important technical phrase which I will come back to that and discuss separately. Yad annena atirohati. So far this mantra, what has it done? It is asking us to realize time and space. We have got time and space. This time and space has got what is known as the upadhi. Upadhi means attributes. So time and space, what attributes can be there for time and space? The mantra gives it as Shirsha. It has got head. It has got head means all our Ichha Shakti and Sankalpa Shakti also, inclusive of our ability to desire and our ability to resolve. So both of them. And then Akshaha eyes, that means Darshana Shakti, ability to see, ability to have a vision. And then Pada, that is Kriya Shakti, and Gatishilata means progressing. So today you start at the bottom of the rung, then you get promoted next year, you get another promotion, you get another promotion. That is also Gatishilata. All these things is possible because of the inhering Purusha. But is he limited? Is a question. The answer is, he is not limited because he is Atyatishthata Atirohati. Ati Atisthati, because he is perfectly established. Unlike present, past, future is not established, because present becomes past, past becomes future, future becomes present, isn't it? Therefore it is not Atyatishthati. Whereas Purusha is Atyatishthati. And he is also Atirohati. Atirohati, Ruh, it comes from this root, Sanskrit root, Ruh. Ruh means to rise up. To rise up what? From where? Annena atirohati. Annena, what does food do? Food preserves us, isn't it? But at the same time, food is the one which will make us die. It is because of food we are born. It is because of food we sustain ourselves, and it is because of food we die. This we have also seen in Taittiriya Upanishad. So, idam vishwam, this annadi samagri, because bhutam bhavyam vartamana, annadi samagri, everything that is in creation, and this vishwam, idam vishwam, are all asat. That is the conclusion we have to draw. And why should the Rishi describe asat? Only to keep the description of asat until the asat is discarded. So how does he achieve that? He will say Sasashesha Purushaha Sasraksha Sasrapat Sabhumim Vishwato Vritva. When he says Atyatishthate, he has transcended asat. When he says Atirohati, he has transcended asat. So I am reminded of a beautiful verse of Adi Shankara where he is looking at the ocean and then he says, Satyapi Bedapagame Natha. If at all there is truly a difference between you and I, because his theory is Advaita, that both of us are same. If at all there is a difference between you and I, Satyapi Bedapagame Natha, Tavaham Namamakeenastvam. I belong to you and you don't belong to me. And he gives a metaphor saying Samudrohi Taranga Kvachana Samudrohi Taranga Kvachana Samudro Na Taranga. Samudrohi Taranga, all waves belong to the ocean and ocean does not belong to the wave. So that is the bhakti he will introduce into Advaita. So therefore, here also if you map on the same thing, Samudra is there, then Purusha Atirohati. How? Because Samudra creates the Taranga. Therefore, it got a new name. He actually Atirohati rises from, right? Atirohati means what? Ruh means to rise from. From the ocean rises, and therefore there is Taranga. Atyatishthata, firmly established. Where is the Taranga firmly established? In the ocean. Isn't it? So therefore, this is reconciled, how something rises from and how something is established. So therefore, this mantra is conveying that Vishwam, Bhutam, Bhavyam, etc. are all Asat only, because Samudra is also Namarupa, Taranga is also Namarupa, but the real basis, Purusha, is water. Isn't it? So water is the real basis, which has become Samudra or Taranga, just like Purusha also. Vishwam, Bhutam, Bhavyam, all of these things are called Sapeksha in the discipline of logic. Sapeksha means they are dependent. Whereas Purusha is Nirapeksha, or he is independent. So Samudra Taranga relationship is Sapeksha. Where there is Taranga, there must be Samudra, and where there is Samudra, there must be Taranga, and therefore they are Sapeksha. But water is Nirapeksha. Similarly, Yadbhutam Yacha Bhavyam. All these Vishwa, the Sahasra Shisha, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapat, all these Vishwa, they are all Sapeksha, but the Purusha is Nirapeksha. So that is the conclusion of this. Now the question arises, why should this world be there? Why do we have to have the world? Why not we have the unique Purusha who need not manifest himself as Samudra, Taranga, as past, present and future? Why not be in the absolute state? If it was only in the absolute state, then the glory of Purusha cannot be seen, cannot be known. Parabrahman's glory can be known only when there is the world. This is why we have to be very, very cautious in not negating the importance of the world. World is very beautiful. Without world, there is no use for Purusha. Isn't it? And therefore, the skill here is, Atyatishthata, Atirohati is the key words here. The skill here is, whenever you see this Sapeksha universe, you must see the glory of the Nirapeksha Purusha. That Mahantam Vibhum, by seeing that great Lord who is Mahantam inside, Dukkha Shokhau Jahati. He will overcome Dukkha Mohau Jahati or Shoka Mohau Jahati. He will overcome Shoka and Moha. So I am actually reminded of another beautiful Subhashita. Manina Valayam. Valayena Manihi. Manina Valayena Vibhati Karaha. So there is a bangle. This bangle is looking very beautiful because of the embedded jewels. The embedded jewel gives the beauty to the bangle. The bangle gives support to the jewel, right? But both of them embellish the hand. Manina Valayam Valayena Manihi Manina Valayena Vibhati Karaha. Then, if you look at the night, Shashina cha Nisha, Nishaya cha Shashi, Shashina Nishaya cha Vibhati Nabha. Nabha is Strilinga. So Shashina Nishaya cha, and then Payasa kamalam. Kamalena payaha. From water, the lotus. From lotus, the water. Can you think of a lake, just a placid lake which has got nothing in it, and compare it to a lake which has got beautiful lotus flowers? Which appeals to you better? It is, isn't it? Which appeals to you better? Similarly, there can be an absolute Purusha. An absolute Purusha is no different than a beautiful woman's hand without bangles. Right? It will be no different from a very beautiful night without the moon. Then it can be then lake without flowers. Then the fourth pada is Kavinaja Vibhu. Vibhunacha Kavihi. Kavina Vibhuna Vibhati Sabha. So there is a beautiful a court of a king. In that court of a king, what does it do? It talks about economy, it talks about taxation, it talks about most dry things, military, defense, right? But what does a poet do? The poet gives glory to the king, and the sabha, which has got the kavi. Kavi gives glory to the king, and king, by supporting the kavi, he brings glory to the kavi, and both of them together bring glory to the sabha. So thus, this mantra is not only giving us a Shabda Shilpa of a Purusha, but it is also giving us the important validity of the world. Because if we don't establish this principle now, the rest of the sukta becomes irrelevant. Because now we are going to dismember him, he is going to create this many things. All of that becomes, it all becomes only analysis if we don't say that every single living and non-living entity in the world is something that actually embellishes Purusha. Whether it is cows or goat or the Varna system, whatever is going to be built, every one of that is a new Alankara for this Purusha. That is how we have to understand the Purusha Sukta. So we'll continue in the next class.